The GH recap for April 24, 2023, has Laura and company heading to Greenland. The General Hospital recap features Laura Collins deciding to take matters into her own hands with a crew of helpers. In this episode, Laura and her friends put their heads together to figure out where Victor was headed. On the plane back to Port Charles, Holly learned more about what Victor is really up to. Valentine and Anna tried to discuss Victor, but Ned kept getting in the way. At the Quartermain mansion, Ned was more worried about ELK than a wedding in his living room. But then he got a big surprise. Finally, Molly told TJ and Alexis about her medical condition. Drew, Cameron Matheson, and Curtis, Donald Turner, showed Laura, Ginny Francis, the map they found that they believe is connected to Project Demeter. When Robert, Tristan Rogers, arrived, the map seemed to make little sense to him. But then he and Laura noticed a location from the first Ice Princess caper 42 years ago. Putting their heads together, the crew figured out that Victor Charles Shaughnessy was heading for an island off the coast of Greenland. Robert later confirmed that satellite photos were able to identify a ship like the Haunted Star right in the suspected location. Sadly, the WSB refused to step in because the ship was not docked in any of their jurisdictions. Laura didn't care and decided she would just go rescue Liesl, Kathleen Gaddy, Trina, Tabian Ali, and her grandsons on her own. Curtis and Drew decided to join her, so that meant Drew would have to miss the Milo wedding and not be able to give her away. When Valentine, James Patrick Stewart, happened by in the hospital halls, Laura updated him on the ship being off the coast of Greenland, but Valentine couldn't imagine what Victor would want there. He offered to join Laura and her bumbling men, but then remembered he had to stay back and be there for Anna, Finola Hughes. When he rushed back to Anna's room, he told her that there was a crew on their way now to find Victor and the Haunted Star, and she convinced him to go complete the mission. Liesl would be so happy to hear that. Portia, Brooke Care, remained a wreck as she worried about Trina, so she asked Anna to answer her mother-to-mother. How much trouble is Trina in? Anna was honest with her and told her how ruthless Victor is, but also let her know that he would not hurt Trina because she was his leverage with Spencer, Nicholas Alexander Chavez. Before Curtis took off, he left a note for a sleeping Portia to tell him he'd be bringing Trina home soon. Holly, Emma Sams, was practically glued to Effins. James Ryan sighed on the plane back to Port Charles, but she also wanted to know everything that happened to him, as well as everything that Victor might be up to. However, she mainly just wanted her son to be careful as he was ready to take off once again to indulge in his charity work and run away from more people who were after him. Before they landed, Ethan told Holly what he knew about Victor. Felicia, Christina Wagner, and Tracy, Jane Elliott, sat together on the plane as Felicia marveled at Tracy's last-minute auction save that helped rescue Ethan. She wasn't about to let Luke's son get killed, but didn't like the monetary price she had to pay. Tracy remained determined to get Victor for killing Luke, Tony Jerry, and knew her mission was not yet over. Felicia reminded Tracy that Luke wouldn't want her to waste her time and cash trying to avenge him. After the plane landed, Robert was in shock when Holly arrived in his office, interrupting a flirting session with Diane. Carolyn Hennessy, the Q living room, was filled with people planning Michael's, Chad Duell, and Willow's, Caitlin McMullen wedding, including Carly, Laura Wright, who just walked into the house as if she lived there. Michael was also preoccupied with information on the Pipeman shipment, and nobody could believe he was checking his phone on such a big day. Ned, Wally Kurth, was also preoccupied with work as he tried to get through to Valentine, convinced now that Michael and Drew were right never to allow him to be Chief Executive Officer of ELQ. Never mind that the love of Valentine's life was just shot and nearly died twice. He needs to put business first. Over at GH, Valentine and Anna discussed the search for Victor at her hospital bedside. He did his best to try to convince Anna to just get better and not worry about nabbing Victor, but she just wanted out of that hospital bed. While chatting, Ned called and Valentine ignored the call, saying he would call him back eventually, but finding Victor and stopping him was much more important. At least Valentin has his priorities straight. When Valentin finally decided to talk to Ned, he explained why he faked his death, But Ned didn't care and just wanted him to put out a statement immediately. Ned told Valentine to either step down or get back to work. Valentine told him he had more important concerns and just hung up on him. That just prompted Ned to hint to Michael that he might want to make him key CEO again. The Tias and Carly were soon in for more of a shock when Tracy waltzed into the house to complain about Monica's gardening choices. Finally, TJ, Taj Bello, and Alexis, Nancy Lee Gran, were surprised when Molly, Haley Pullos, told them she likely had endometriosis and explained what it could mean when it came to having a baby. She reminded Alexis she always had painful periods, but they have gotten worse of late. When Molly explained that she'd have to have estrogen treatments as a treatment and would stop ovulating, TG wasn't as pessimistic and pointed out she'd start ovulating again when the treatment was over. Once alone with her mom, Molly broke down crying at the idea that she might not be able to have children. General Hospital airs weekdays on ABC. For more about what's coming up in Port Charles, check out all the latest that's been posted on GA Spoilers, and for an in-depth look at the show's history, click here.